Head over to YouTube and bear with me. I'll just take a few seconds here until this thing loads up, and then we're good to go. And also, you've got the okay, all right, we're good to go here, right? Head over to YouTube. Okay, there we got a little delay. Perfect. Look, good there. That's working. What else do we need here? We have all right, streaming, really? What are we streaming here? High captions. Okay, we don't want the captions. At least I don't think. Okay, so yeah, if you want the captions, right, there's a little thing on your dashboard that says show captions. Some people want that, but anyway. All right, we're gonna start now, and we gotta hit this one button, and we're good to go here. All right, all systems go, and we're all set. Good evening, folks. My gosh, we're running a little late here. 8:02 is the time here, Eastern time. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to DayTradeSPY.com's weekend review. We're intro to trading, whatever. If you're the first time here user, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome again. So, all right, my name is Hugh, and there's my beautiful dog, Lucy. May she rest in peace. We had to put her down a couple months ago. Felt really, really bad, but in our hearts, she's still alive and well. So, anyway, today is May the 4th. May the 4th. And I want to tell you, there's a questions box. You'll find the icon on your Zoom dashboard. Click on that. I am the only one that sees that, so go ahead and say whatever you want. I will give you a few seconds to read this disclaimer so that you can actually understand what we're doing here. Okay. And I will be quiet while you read this disclaimer. This is to keep the lawyers happy. I understand they have to eat too. All right. You understand you're not receiving any advice as to what I want to buy or sell. Simply receiving information for educational purposes only. You alone are responsible for all your own trading, and past performance does not guarantee future results. I think you know all of that. All right. All right, folks. Quick question here for you. All right. I want to kind of get an idea. Anybody who has been here before, if you've seen our webinars before, let us know in the questions box. Yes. If this is your first time, say no. Never been here, stumbled on you, went up and down the dial, the internet dial. There is no internet dial. And we found you. We got you on an email, whatever. Let us know how you found us. Just curious to see. All right. And I will answer your questions here. And while you're doing that, I am going to just read some of these things to myself. And my gosh, one of our gentlemen here in the trading room, Jeff D. I'm just really excited to hear this. Okay, you've seen this before. He said April. Jeff is telling me here, April is a good month for trading. He had 1 month, his return was 371%. Oh my gosh, 36 consecutive wins. In spite of the tariff panic, or maybe because of it, the increased volatility caused big swings in the intraday price of SPY and allowed me to get a bigger gains and do more trades. He made 152% on one trade, though it took a week. Two repairs and a lot of anxiety. Okay. All right, lots of yeses. Bruce, thank you for that. He says, love them. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my gosh, Mark P says, I've only missed two since finding you a year ago. Wow. Okay, very impressive here. Larry M, welcome. Hasn't been here before. Okay, Larry. All right. Scott P says, it's probably my 40th one. You guys, Scott says this is probably his 40th session here. Oh, you guys are committed. Or maybe should be committed. I don't know, but that is amazing. Okay, lots of yeses. Yes, need more freebies. Oh, yes, great, Phil. Phil C. S. Almost done with year one. Ed, oh my gosh, Ed S. Yes. All right, not too many no's. Okay, good. Good to see you guys all. Guys and gals. All right, a lot of gals on here too. I find ladies make better traders, but I'm not so sure. I mean, statistically they say that, but I get some really good results for some of the gentlemen that are online here. So, all right, good to see you. Let's get moving, folks. All right, this is what we're gonna do here. This is me in living color, and you know what? I see there's that's that's the background there. You guys, I guess you can see. How much if I turn the slide on? Would this help at all? We're gonna get a glare off my forehead. I know what I'll do. I think I can turn this off. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just turn the blinds down and behind there. How's that if I just pull the blinds down? Then I think more light will focus on my face, so you can suffer more. All right, how's my hair? All right, what little is left of it. Okay, folks, this is what we're going to do today. We're going to discuss last week, and we're going to I'm close this one too. And we're going to discuss the upcoming week. Going to take a little bit of a poll, answer your questions, and I've got a little contest as we've been doing for the last several weeks here. And just anybody can enter this contest. Let me tell you, it's a random number. Okay, not a trivia question. You don't have to know anything about anything. It's just a very random number. So pick a number, closest to the number, they win a prize. Haven't yet decided what the prize is. So, all right. Yes, the prize. The prize today is going to be a weekend at my house. All the losers get 2 weeks. Kidding about that. It's going to be an ebook. It's going to be an ebook. All right. So that's what we're going to do here. A little bit about myself. You already know my background. Learn from the trenches. All right. Discover some cool strategies. I learned from my mistakes. I logged my trades, reviewed my trades. You see, I got to be honest with you here. Money, I didn't grow into money. I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I know it's hard to believe, right? But it's true. I had to work for all of my money and work hard. So when I lost thousands of dollars, that meant a lot to me. So I'd always wonder, why did I lose? What did I lose so much money for? I'd always go back and try and see what was it. I always found that it kind of, I think for the most part, what happened was discipline and patience. If I can name two words, it was discipline and patience. Discipline to know when to stop trading, right? When I hit my daily target, I should have been out of the trade. I should have finished up for the day, wrap it up, go do something else, right? Because you keep pushing your luck. You keep pushing your luck and pushing your luck, and at some point it runs out. And then you find yourself sitting in a trade at the end of the day, say, oh, why did I do that last trade? What was I thinking? I got on a roll and I kept making money, and then the last anyway, enough of that. But I learned from my mistakes and I started doing quite well. People started asking me, so that's when I started training. I'm looking for short-term breakout trades. That's kind of my specialty. Short-term breakout trades. Doesn't matter which way the market is going up or down. We buy first and then we sell. So that's our methodology. And a lot of people say, I didn't know you can make money on SPY options like that. I always thought, they're longer term. And I said, no, you can get in and out of there in sometimes a matter of seconds. As a matter of fact, this last week I had a couple of days where I did some heavy duty trading. So what we did here is my associate John, I'm going to go to see there's John. I'll tell you a little bit about him too. But so he and we would switch. So he's kind of doing Tuesdays and Wednesdays these days. And it allows me to do my own trading. So I can get in, focus on my trades, make a lot of money, get in, get out, be done for the week. And then he kind of takes over most of the talking, right? On Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I host. He sits in the background, as if it is that a background. We both do, a lot of talking, both of us together and stuff. It's just that we see his charts and he kind of goes over his indicators. So John, he comes from a law background. He's actually a lawyer, commercial litigation. He's worked in the oil industry a lot, and he's actually quite a noted lawyer. He's presented before some very high-powered people and judges and whatnot. So, but after many years of being a law, I kind of retired from that business, got into trading. Very interested in trading for the longest time, and actually he developed his style about 21 years ago, probably pushing 22 now. I'm not really sure, but highly acclaimed in many publications, media. He's been quoted. Right? The media calls him for quotes and different things, and he's helped thousands gain success in the markets as well. His philosophy is very simple. Just take what the market gives you. Don't get greedy. If the market gives you a dime, take it. A dime at a time is just fine. That's one of our sayings. We have a lot of sayings. We have a lot of sayings. My favorite saying is, well, we're not happy until you're not happy. No, that's think about that for a second. No, that's just a little funny thing. But we have a saying that actually is very serious. So John, he has his own set of indicators. And myself, I have my own set of indicators as well, right? And if John says, you know what, I think the market is going down, it's going to go down in the next little while. And here's why. And then he tells me his reasoning. And I look and I say, you know what, John, I agree with you. And here's why I think the market is going to go down as well. And I present my set of indicators. So we have a saying that when our indicators unite, our trades ignite. And that means if both of us are saying it's going to go down, you might want to buy put options because put options increase in value as the stock goes down, right? If you're in a put option play, you want the market to crash and burn, right? Because the more it goes down, the more money you make. So anyway, John and I have been together now for several months, and we're having a great time in the trading room and do a lot of stuff together. And I'll tell you about that in a little bit here. So. All right, a couple reminders real quick. Spy on the market. This is our newsletter, goes out every Thursday. All right, free, 3-minute read, very brief. Again, if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe. Um, Very easy. Just go to our website, daytradespy.com, and when the little pop-up comes up, just leave us your email address. And this week's topic is, there's the drum roll. Drum roll. Trading is a mental game. Trading is a mental game. I have to hire a girl to do my drum rolls. Just really off the cuff here. I've been watching some YouTube videos. There's this young lady. Her name is Sina. I think she started at 14 years of age. Her father is a musician. I think her mother is too, or she's a singer or something. Anyway, she's an amazing lady who's an unbelievable drummer. So she does all these cover songs and stuff, and it's just really awesome. So when I think of a drum roll, I think Sina. I will never replicate her amazing talent. So anyway, trading is a mental game. All right. Excuse me. And it truly is. It truly is. When I look back at my log and I look at all of my trades, all right, every single trade had an element of, mental composure or a mental breakdown off the trade. If I had a bad trade, I can attribute it to a mental breakdown. It's not, you know what, we like to blame the market. We always like to blame something else, but at the end of the day, trading is not the market is just the arena that we play in, right? Think of it like a hockey game or a baseball game or something. You know, you're playing the game, but the actual competition is the other side, right? The other team. And there's a lot of things mental. I'll tell you right now, one of the most important things that I discovered was the enemy. When you can identify the enemy instantly, right? Your fortune is going to change, and that's exactly what happened to me. I realized the enemy is not the stock market. As a matter of fact, when I go back at the end of the day and I look at all the many opportunities the market gave me, my goodness, the market is actually my best friend. I just didn't recognize it at the time. You know who the enemy is? That person in the mirror. Myself. I was the enemy. Every one of my trades, especially the ones that the ones that I just totally devastated my account, that I was the one to blame. I was totally the one to blame. I got in prematurely. I got out too late. I got greedy. That was a big thing with me. Greed was the biggest factor. Oh my gosh, if I could have curbed my greed years and years ago, wow. I can't imagine where I would be. But anyway, it's a free newsletter. This week's topic, trading is a mental game. By the way, folks, before I forget, um, sometimes I get very excited at these sessions, these Sunday night sessions. I'm just all pumped up. Believe it or not, I start my PowerPoint presentations sometimes on Fridays, sometimes Saturdays, once in a while on a Sunday. But I spend a lot of time with this, right? Trying to think about, okay, what's going on here, doing all the prep work and different things. But I get very excited talking to a lot of different people. And we have hundreds of people online, so it's very exciting. So maybe thousands, I don't know. I'll go back and check, but I'm very excited to be here. So when I get excited, I tend to speak a little bit too fast sometimes. Okay, so now if you find that I'm speaking a little bit too fast, or I'm talking about something you might not know about, punch it up in the questions box. Tell me, Hugh, slow down, slow down, slow down. Take a breath. Or, I don't understand what you're talking about. Can you please explain it or expand on this or that or whatever? Can you elaborate? Okay. So, all right, let's move along. Yes, this one here as well. Okay. No, no, don't give me the random numbers now. Okay, people are already chiming in with their random numbers. Okay, so at the time when we open the contest, then you'll give me the random numbers. Okay, so all right, just another point in time, and to make here. We're going to be at Freedom Fest. This is the festival in Palm Springs, California, June 11th to 14th. I finalized my travel arrangements. I will be flying in I think June the 10th. Let me just check that one last time. June the 10th. Sorry, June the 11th. I'm flying in on the Wednesday and flying out on the Sunday. Um, but we're going to figure out what we're going to do with the morning trading rooms. I believe that when we are there, we are going to still do them, of course. And I believe that we're not going to skip a beat. Okay. John is also flying in. I don't have a schedule yet, but John and I are scheduled to speak on the Thursday, the 12th of June, and the Friday, June the 13th. As a matter of fact, John and I are doing a live roadshow type presentation. We're going to be doing a trading room presentation on the Friday the 13th, June the 13th. If you can, be there. All right, check us out. Anyway, all right, so let's take a look here and see what's going on. Oh, let's go back here for a second here. This here is a chart. Charts courtesy of Schwab, Thinkorswim. This is a chart. It's an hourly chart of the days of the week, Monday through Friday. And let's expand on this now. There we go. We're going to expand on this. Let's see what happened last week. Look, it's not where you've been that's as important as where you're going, but it's also nice to kind of review what happened last week to see, well, what's driving the markets and what can we look for what is the pattern here? Is there a pattern? Can we see something that we can maybe utilize for future trades? Last Monday was relatively quiet day. There's a low, no news day. Very choppy trading. In fact, we ran up the flagpole, then we came right back down. We tested a little bit of resistance here at 554, and then some technical resistance kicked in. Profit taking came back down again. I believe that we're the Friday before we are underneath all of this, so there was a lot of pre-market rally activity type of thing. So there's a lot of profit taking there, and then we were weighed down by some mega cap stocks earnings. Not so much the earnings. I believe Nvidia and Amazon both beat earnings, but what happened was it's the future outlook that is actually concerning markets right now. All right, so these are all first quarter earnings that are coming in right now, and earnings have, of course, they've not been affected by tariffs or anything, right? So that's the issue there. So we're just seeing some good earnings, but it's the future outlook that is of concern to markets. So that is what's driving markets. So anyway, ran down, but then we got a nice little rally, pushed it right back up. We finished up just I believe we actually finished up not I believe we did. We actually finished the market higher than what we opened right here on Monday. Tuesday, all right, SPY extended its week-long rally to the sixth day on earnings and softening on tariffs. Um, we had President Trump and his um, famous approach to deals. He comes on strong, then he softens up, tries to make a deal that is to his benefit and hopefully to the other party's benefit as well. But either way, the softened up a little bit on tariffs, and the market ran up again, found some resistance up around that 555 level. On Wednesday, we had Q1 GDP showing a 0.3% contraction. So the economy actually pulled back a little bit. Dropped SPY. SPY came right down on that deal. That wasn't very good. And I think I've got a little typo in here. I want to just bring back a space there. That's better. Okay, there we go. And but then it rallied after Lutnick said that he reached a trade deal with an unnamed country. And Trump also softened up on the auto tariffs as well. So that kind of secured a lot of the auto industry jobs, I think. I think people are starting to feel a little, oh, good. At least don't have to worry about our jobs in the short term. So market ran up again, like you say, on Thursday as well for the eighth straight day on Microsoft and Meta earnings, boosted markets there. And on Friday, we had a high of 568.38 as SPY officially erased April's losses. We had a strong jobs report, some reports there, and hope for China. All right. The U.S. says, "Oh, we've been in talks with China." China says, "Never heard of you guys. Who are you again?" S&P had the longest winning streak since 2004. This last little while. All right. So from a seasonal standpoint, this is what the chart looks like here. That blue line, of course, is the current SPY price, and the red line is the average of the last 5 years daily closing price. Little choppy here, right? We're a little choppy as we're starting to gain a little traction here in May. But let's see what happens when we compress this and expand it and focus in. Historically, SPY dropped about 1 point from last week. Actually, that is wrong. It actually rose. It actually rose. Who did this PowerPoint anyway? Yeah. Okay. It rose about a point from last week. Uh, and the following week, it remained flat. It remained flat. So very choppy here. Expect relatively choppiness, flatness, no major increases. We punch up the seasonals because it's just good to know where, what we can expect from a seasonal standpoint. Some stocks have historically risen, maybe on earnings or some sort of an options, contract with their employees or whatever their various reasons. Stocks have seasonalities in them. But knowing that SPY is relatively choppy for the next few days, it's good to know that it can go in either direction. And especially these days when it's the comments from the administration that actually governs more than economic data. Normally, the economic data is going to rule the roost, right? But these days, it's kind of whatever Trump says and his underlings say. So, got a slew of earnings, and we had a slew of earnings, economic, labor market data, all pointed to a solid momentum, even though GDP growth was negative. And so we're gonna see what comes of that. There's something I need to check here, and coming up. What else? There we go. The labor market remains resilient as unemployment rates stayed low. Also, this last week we've seen improvements in the tone from the administration on the pursuit of tariffs. This also contributed to some choppiness and some move back to the upside ultimately, even though it wasn't straight lined up. Improvements from China and other trading partners, but concrete progress is needed for sustained gains in the market and the economy. This is where the choppiness comes in. Conflicting comments, positive comments, and then it's pushed down with somebody else. I don't know who to believe. Sometimes I wonder, who's saying the truth here. Are we actually making gains with China and the other countries? But what do we have to rely on? Only what's told to us, right? I think it's, um, I'm not so sure we're told the truth. And if we are, who's telling the truth? But we only have what we're told to rely on, and the market has to respond to just that. So overall, SPY rebounded nicely over the last couple of weeks. Actually, the S&P ran up about 8%, which is really nice. Last several weeks, up until a couple of weeks ago, I've been reporting some really negative news here. So it's kind of nice to see some positive outcomes on SPY here. Earnings growth, that of course is the issue now. We're getting a lot of earnings coming out these days. Positive for Q1, but the outlook is murky, and we still have a healthy job market, but it could slow from here. What I was looking for was earnings to see what earnings are coming out here still in the coming week. Most of the earnings are behind us now. I don't have a list of earnings, but on Monday, we've got not a lot of big names. We've got Cummins, Ford Motor Company, Palantir on Monday. On Tuesday, Advanced Micro Devices, Arista Networks, Duke Energy, some energy companies here, Marriott International. On Wednesday, we have Uber Technologies, Disney, Walt Disney Company, DoorDash, Emerson Electric, Johnson Controls. Thursday, Shopify, Anheuser-Busch, ConocoPhillips, Monster Beverage, Monster Beverage. Let's see who else we have. Friday. Let me see. Coca-Cola. Who else here? Starwood Properties. So the big names, I believe, are behind us. The Magnificent Seven. And I don't think there's anything the following week that is of any significance. Let me just quickly take a look. Fox Corporation next Friday, next Monday, I should say, next Monday, the 12th of May. Let me see. Da, 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 da. Yeah, let me see. Just take a look here next. I'm getting the next Wednesday. Cisco Systems the following Wednesday, May the 14th. Oh, the big names are behind us. The big names are behind us. Walmart next Thursday. All right. Deere and Company, Applied Materials. A lot of those companies, they're always sort of on the tail end. And that's about it. So as we wind down the earnings season, okay? No major players right now. When I say major, I'm talking about, market moving numbers that we had the last week. So, all right, here's a look at the chart here. This is the S&P earnings growth estimates. They've come down since the end of last year, year over year. You can see that we've had some good earnings. Q1 pretty well. The estimate here has fallen relative to expectations at the end of last year. So they're expecting less, which is good for the market because when the market delivers more than it expects, right, that's good for the market. It's when the market underdelivers that's the disappointing. They're disappointing numbers, but they've been beating the expectations here the last little while, and that's actually good for the market. The market's very feels very positive about that. So, all right, the S&P ran up about just under 3 points here this last week. Year to date, we're still down 3.3%. Same with the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq. They're still trailing along as well. The Nasdaq, of course, showing the worst numbers simply because that's the tech-heavy stocks, and the tech stocks are the most overvalued. They're the sort of the first to go whenever there's a meltdown or some negative news in the market, and that's why it's taking a little bit of a recovery, even though the Nasdaq is the one that recovered the most this year. So they're the most volatile. All right, that's kind of what happened. So right now, let's take another little bit of a break here. Do a poll. I like these polls. I like to see what your thoughts are on different things here. And here's the poll. So this one's talking about Greenland. This comes up from time to time, how President Trump has his sights on Greenland. And so Trump is a very interesting character, and not really sure sometimes how to take him. So he's interested in Canada, Greenland. Let's see, the new resort, Gaza Strip. Of course, we renamed Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America and whatnot. And of course, I'm missing it. I don't know if anybody saw the tweets here this morning. I think it was this morning. President Trump wants to be the Pope. You heard that right. But I'm not going to get into that too much. It's not sure if he's serious, but so here's the poll, folks. Do you support or don't support this initiative of taking control of Greenland, taking it over from Denmark or whatever? I don't see it happening. I don't believe it's for sale. But Trump is all about real estate, right? He's all I think he's building a big hotel or something in Dubai, which surprises me since he's very international. But making America great again, he's telling everybody to make America great, but he's building a hotel in Dubai. I don't have that confirmed, but somebody told me that. So let me know what you support here. Do you support the U.S. walking into Greenland and saying, "You're mine"? No, 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 no. No. Okay. All right. Let me take a look here. Don't support, don't support. No, so there's a support. Okay, there's one, two supports, three so okay, there's a few supports. Mike G, NFW, I can only imagine what that means. No, F and way. All right, supports, some a lot of supports, really. And there's some don't supports, don't supports. Okay, if Greenlanders vote for joining, then I support it. Don't support taking Canada or Greenland. I do, however, support Trump for Pope. LOL. Oh, Lord help us. Support, don't support, don't support. Wow, I support. We can't let China or Russia get it. All right, so yeah, there's a lot of talk about China or Russia getting Greenland or Canada or something. I'm not like, are they for sale? I'm not aware they're for sale. Are they going to come in militarily and walk in? I believe that Canada is, should I put it this way, not as strong perhaps as it should be, is not supported NATO as much as it agreed to. And if the U.S. is no longer supporting Canada, that makes Canada vulnerable, in which case China or Russia can walk in on that. I'm not sure. I'm thinking that if anybody takes over anybody, it's economically. They're going to do it from an economic standpoint. Um, I believe Russia has its hands full militarily already and not working all that well. We're not working out all that well. I don't see that. Um, and I believe that if anybody was to attack Canada in any way, that the U.S. would jump in simply to protect the U.S. But anyway, that's my opinion. But if the vulnerability is there, then we should probably step in and make some alliances anyway. Let them keep their sovereignty, of course, but and I believe we are already in Greenland, so I'm not really sure what the issue is there. Scott says Greenland is one of the last colonial properties of the Europeans. Maybe, but I think we already have a base there. In fact, didn't J.D. Vance go there several weeks ago and stuck around for a few hours, and they didn't roll out the red carpet for him. Let's put it that way. And I think he said, called him and said, "Come and get me. We're out of here." But okay, San Diego says support. We won't buy, but we'll pay for our base there. No, don't support. Support. A lot of mixed feelings between support and don't support. Interesting. Interesting. Don't support. Okay. Okay, don't support. If Trump went in softer, we could have gotten lots of military and mining in place, and it'll be as if we owned it. Uh, no, yes. Benjamin says no, yes. Okay. Okay. All right, so I mean, yeah, there's a comment there. We should have an economic union with Canada. They have a lot of resources we need and could use, but just going in to take it over is not the answer. That is all right. So interesting. Okay, mixed bag. Really interesting concept. There's an interesting concept about that he says. Trump says that that line in the basically the line in between Canada and the U.S. looks like it was drawn with a ruler, not the king kind of ruler, but a ruler that you find in the stationery store or in your kid's school desk. Let's just draw a line here um, to determine who picks up the garbage, right? Uh, the U.S. and Canada are very similar in many, many ways, and they certainly there's a lot of alliance north-south, probably more so than east-west, but I'm thinking here more like, and in comments with one of our participants here, she says that we should have something like the European Union, where there's this economic alliance, but each country remains sovereign. And that's probably a good idea. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you very much for the poll, folks. Interesting. Nice to know your comments. Week ahead, what's going on here? Monday, S&P Global Final Services PMI report. 15 minutes later, we will hear from the ISM Services PMI report. Let me just center this. Okay, just a little more pleasing aesthetically. There we go. Let's try it this way. All right. Tuesday, low, no news day. Nothing going on Tuesday, but we're going to gear up for Wednesday. We've got the Fed funds rate, and of course, the associated conference calls, meetings, comments from the Fed funds, from the Fed Reserve. The following 2 days, not only do we have unemployment claims coming out on Thursday and a low no news day on Friday, but we're going to have a lot of the Fed presidents speaking. They're going to be on this speaking tour on Thursday and Friday and discuss why they voted what they did and what their comments are going to be. So last I saw, I think it was like 96% or something said there's going to be a no rate change, and maybe about a 4% said they expect rates to be dropped a quarter percentage point. So Not really sure what they're going to do, but I predict they're not going to lower the rates because the Fed Reserve Chair Jerome Powell stated very clearly, and along with the other presidents, that they're a little more reactionary rather than proactive in setting their rates. Even though President Trump wants rates lowered, unless inflation is such, and I don't think inflation has reared its ugly head quite the way it yet. It has not shown up yet. So they're a little more reactionary rather than proactive. So my guess is they're probably not going to raise the rates. But that's just my opinion. I don't know anything that you don't know. All right. Volatility expected to be high on Monday, low on Tuesday, back up to high on Wednesday, medium, and then low for Thursday and Friday. And don't forget, of course, whenever President Trump is on deck to speak, volatility shoots up because nobody knows what he's going to say, whether it's going to be good news or bad news, and how the pundits interpret the market, excuse me, and how the market interprets the pundits' interpretations, and how anyway it could be all over the place. And most often you'll see both spikes going both ways whenever Trump speaks. So we shall see. And I am not aware of any times when Trump will be speaking. That sort of comes up very quickly, sort of the same day scheduling. So keep an eye on the schedule for that. One of the schedules I like to use is, I know John uses something else. I like to use forexfactory.com. It's a free website. Just go to forexfactory.com and punch up the calendar there, and you'll get the scheduled news items. Mostly it's for foreign exchange, right? Currency exchange, but it also applies to our stocks as well. So it's nice to know when all these events happen. All right, so we've got our 2-minute tutorial coming up here this evening, and now I am going to talk about the perils of holding overnight. I know some people like to get into overnight trading. As a matter of fact, my partner in crime, John Johnson, mm, who, by the way, is uh, is one of the Eagle Financial Products alumni. For many years, he had a newsletter that you could subscribe to. He is now retired from that, and that retirement didn't last very long. I don't know, maybe a month or two or something, and then he came over into the trading room. He does the trading room with me, but I know he talks every now and then about getting into a trade at the end of the day and holding overnight. So that's one of the things he likes to do. For myself, it's never really worked out very well long term. So that's not something I do. I like to trade first thing in the morning. That first hour of the day, that's where I like to make the money, get in, make some money, get out, get on with the rest of the day, right? But there's some perils of overnight trading. Now, let me explain something to you here. Now, I'm going to see if I can do this um, properly without messing it up. It seems like every time I do this, I mess things up. If I'm going to draw this, I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to draw a straight line. Okay, here we go. Let's try this, all right? Excuse me. And I'm going to change the color to this yellow. Hopefully this will work. Long time ago, when I used to trade a lot, I traded a lot more a long time ago than I do now. But I found that I had some real challenges with my trades. But I would make money going to the downside, then I would make money going to the upside. And I make some money, and I'm just illustrating the pattern here that I would do. And for whatever reason, I would have these various trades that I would have going on, and then I would trade to the downside. Now, this last trade sometimes you know, would be a very bad trade for me, right? So what would happen is I would make one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight good trades, and then I'm in the last trade of the day. And for whatever reason, it could have been something as simple as, well, I believe that the stock is going to come down to this resistance level, and it's going to come down to this point here by the end of the day. Except that that's not quite the way that happened, right? It's not quite the way that happened. This last This last, what is this? What's a smart pen? This is interesting. Oh, I don't know what a smart pen is, but I'm going to erase that. Oh, how do I erase that? Eraser. Okay, that's good. That's how you erase it. All right. So, what happened, folks? And this happened a lot. I'd make money all day long. This is pretty cool, right? And I get into the last trade expecting the market to go down. And it reversed at the end of the day. And come 4 o'clock right here. Let me see here. What is this? Come 4 o'clock right in here. The market closed. I did not get filled for what I thought. So what happened was I was stuck overnight. Or at least let's put it this way. I had a decision to make. Do I hold overnight and take my chances? Or do I sell and take a loss? And I'll never forget the day. And this would be, so this is a very profound, uh, you know, discovery that I had made because I realized at that time that this is not a good thing. If I hold overnight and the stock opens against me, obviously that's not a good place to be, right? And I realized then too that when I used to do this, that you know what? Um, the world goes on living without me in it. How, what a revelation. It didn't stop because I was not on the market. And there's a lot of activity in post-market, pre-market, and overnight trading. World events happen that shape the market the next morning. And if the market opened up in my against me, that would be not a good thing. And I'd have to worry about, oh, what am I going to do now? Conversely, if the market opened up in my favor, that was a very good thing, right? Because I now made money. I can sell at the market open. But I never really knew for sure at the market close as to what was going to happen. And it could go in either direction. So that was not good. And even if the market opened up in my favor and I made some profit, I still lost ultimately because that was a false sense of doing something right when I just got lucky. See, there's a big difference between getting lucky and doing something right from skill. And then I'll never forget it was the day many years ago when I discovered that, you know what? This is so not good. And I discovered that okay, I'm trying to get the line back up. Here we go. Here's the line. I discovered that when I made like I think it was $1.46 net after all of this, a day like this, when okay, let me erase this one now. Get this. Okay, when I did all of this, I had 7 or 8 good trades. At the end of the day, when I sold for a loss, gave back all the money I'd made all day long. I walked away with about $1.46 after commissions and stuff. And I thought, you know what? That wasn't even enough for a cup of coffee, right? It wasn't even enough for a cup of coffee. Then I realized, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to stop trading. Oh, I didn't want the eraser here. Okay, so, okay, let's do this again. All right, I made money there. All right. Okay. So I realized that if I stop trading right here at 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 12 noon, right? I was a good trader. I could make money one, two, three or four trades before noon and stop trading. Stop trading. Because look, you and I both know if you're at all in the trading world for any length of time and you trade all day, you know that if you get into a trade right here in the afternoon and you're in a bad spot, that 4 o'clock bell comes up real fast, doesn't it? And so often you could be underwater, especially if you're doing short-term trades with a short, a tight expiration and you're losing theta loss, right? Time loss. And now you're scratching your head. Oh, I can't believe this. I made money in the morning and I'm giving it all back in the afternoon and then some, you know. And so I found two things happened here. And I'm going to see if I have a text. Do I have a text? How does this work? Here we go. First of all, I'm going to see if this works. I made more money by doing it this way and I kept it. So two things happened. Well, that didn't go too well, did it? Okay. That was black on black. All right. Let's try this again here. And if I do this, I made more money and I kept it. This is something so good that it's worthy of repeating it twice. And I'm going to see if I can color it a different color so that this is going to be nicely highlighted. And there you go. All right. How does this work? And now if I erase this, you can see I'm kind of playing with this, right? There we go. I made more money and I kept it. How cool is that? And I didn't have to, and there's another thing that happened here. Another really cool thing. I freed up my afternoon so I can go and do other things. At that time, I enjoyed other hobbies. Just, if just hanging out with my wife, kids, grandkids, whatever, uh, go for a bike ride. Fly airplane. I used to, I flew more than I do now. So I go down to the airport, meet my buddies. Let's go poke some holes in the clouds. Go sailing, go for walks, um, different things like that, right? So I made more money, I kept it, and I got my afternoon back, worry free, and I slept better at night. Now, it's not to say that I'm going to close my positions at 12 noon no matter what, because if I'm in a bad trade at 12 noon, but my overall long-term projection is to the upside, right? And if I'm going to the upside, chances are if I just let the trade ride in the afternoon, it'll still give me my profit. What I'm saying is I simply do not initiate new trades in the afternoon. And I think if you do that, I think you'll find that your trades will, your fortune will be much better. And look at this. Now I'm in a spot where I have to erase all drawings. Let's trash there. There we go. All right. So that's your 2-minute tutorial. If you're finding that your challenges are in afternoon trading like that, stop trading. Get your 2 or 3 trades or whatever you're doing. Get them in there early. Keep more money. Make more money. Keep more money. And you know what? And if you're not doing well, learn to day trade options. If you're one of these people that like longer term trades, it's not really working out for you, you want something more exciting, something that pays you better and faster. Maybe you're not going to make that 30% or 40 or 50% that maybe that long-term trade might give you, right? Might down the road, and you don't have the patience. Like I don't have a lot of patience, right? And that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about in the newsletter. So just trade in the morning. You don't have to trade all day. Just because the market is open and you could doesn't mean you should. All right. So this takes us up to the next point here. A lot of people say to me, Hugh, can I actually really make money in this? Because you can make a lot of money in this. Keeping it is the other thing. If you find yourself making money but you can't keep it, I'm going to tell you right now, you can make some serious money, and here's what you got to do. Find $5,000 as seed money. All right, seed money. And you can make $200 a day as a day trader. I believe there's something like 226 trading days in a year. In fact, let me just Google that. I just want to make sure, because I think for the sake of about 10 seconds, I will get you an answer. All right. All right. Sorry, I lied. According to Google, the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ average about 251 trading days a year. Really? Okay. But let's say you only trade 200 days of the year. Let's say you only put in 200 trading days of the year. All right. Never mind the 51. You don't trade, you trade you take a break, right? You trade what's that? 4 out of the 5 year, five days, right? You trade 4 out of the 5 days, right? Um, but let's say you only trade 200 trading days of the year and you make $200 a day. 200 trading days, making $200 a day. Well, is that not for $40,000? Let's say you traded 250 days at $200. Let's say you traded the 250 days. You just trade almost every day, or sometimes you trade twice a day, making $200, which, by the way, is fairly easy to do, making $200 a day. In fact, it's quite easy to do using our system. This is a 40 to 50 to $60,000 a year endeavor if you only start with $200 a day. Now, here's the thing. You're going to start trading $200 a day, but as you grow your account, you'll invest more money. So maybe about 4 or 5 months down the road, instead of making only $200 a day, you're going to ramp it up to make $300 or $400 a day, right? So there are a lot of people that I know that have started out trading very small, but now they're trading quite a bit, and they're doing very well. But you have to start somewhere. Now, I know people who are very reluctant to get in and start the process, but you got to start somewhere. Even if you're starting with one or two contracts, just bear in mind you're not going to get rich trading one or two contracts. I know one person who was actually trading two or three contracts. They go in, they pick up a few cents, go in, get out, get in, get out. Now, they are able to trade in and out many times during the day because they're well funded. If you have more than $25,000 in your accounts, it doesn't even have to be all in your, for example, Schwab trading account. If you have money with other Schwab accounts that is over the 25,000, you can trade multiple times a day. So as John Johnson, my cohort, says, just trade what the market will give you. So if the market gives you a dime and it's struggling along, take the dime. Just take the dime, okay? Because you can always get back into it after. So the market goes up a little bit, wobbles around, right? You don't know if it's going to pop up or come back down if you're going in calls. Take the dime, and when it comes back down and it starts pushing back up again, jump back in, take another dime, take another dime, take another dime. It's like building a house brick by brick by brick by brick. You will never be able to construct a whole wall on your own. But if you build it brick by brick by brick, you will build your walls, right? And that's what I like to do. And that's what seems to work very well for me. So you can actually start trading $200 a day. And if it's just a straight linear, right, scale, you're not even advancing your trading goal throughout this year, you should end up with about $50,000, starting with 5,000 seed money. Okay. So I'm actually working with somebody on that. And I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit here. But imagine yourself in control of your financial future, some financial security. And you know what? If we do get into a recession, then who cares? It doesn't matter. We can make money both going up and down, and we can work and just work in the morning, make our money in the morning, and then we can do other things in the afternoon. You can make your $200 by 10:30, 10:45, and you're done. And this is what I like. You are not beholden to a boss or anybody else. No customers, no clock, no obligations, nothing like that. And if you can make this kind of money, so let's say you're able to do this in the morning, you get in there, you make your money, get out, and at the end of the year, cash out, you got your 50,000, do it all over again. Um, it enables you to have all the things that you want, all right, or help other people. I enjoy helping my kids, doing what the things that they want to do, and some of my kids' friends as well. Um, Years ago, I had some of my kids. I remember. Well, this one kid in particular, he was a friend of my son's, and he was a very smart kid in high school, right? Very smart kid in high school, and but he wasn't going to go to college because he couldn't afford it. I said, whoa, 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 hang on. What do you mean? You're pretty smart. The worst thing to to uh, to lose is a kid's mind, right? You don't want to abandon that. If you're intelligent, it's a horrible thing to waste. What's your plan? I think his name was Jordan or Justin or something. I can't even remember now. I'm going back years on this one here, but so well, I was gonna be a bartender, make some money and tips and stuff, and save my money for college. I said, well, I know where that's going. I know where that's going. You're gonna be the bartender. You're gonna get a girlfriend. You're gonna get this, and before one year goes into the second, and third, and fourth, you're making money. You're not gonna go back to college. Okay, not gonna happen. Maybe it will. I could be wrong. I hope I am. But listen, let's do this. How about if I lend you the money? Actually, I'll give you the money. I'll give you the money. I'll pay your tuition, whatever, and you take good courses. Don't tell me you're going to take basket weaving 101 or some stupid, you got to take some real good courses. I'll pay for your college education. And then one day, this is going to reverse, right? You are going to have that opportunity. You're going to have that opportunity to help somebody else do the same. That's the promise you have to make me. You don't have to pay me back. All right. It's not going to materially change my life at all. I'm going to help you. And remember that. And one day when you have the opportunity to help somebody else this way, You did say, "Oh my gosh, he's over the moon. All right, I'm game. I'm in." And then he went on to, I think he became an engineer or something. So I was very proud of this kid. Anyway, help other people. You know what I'm talking about here, right? As my fellow Eagle guru John says, being able to do what you want when you want. That's the beauty of day trading SPY options. I like to say, I stole this from an old friend who is no longer with us. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. This is a sign I see every now and then. And folks, at the end of the day, nobody really cares, right? Whether you do this or not. But time goes by anyway. You might as well make money doing it. So what's the next step? You want to know? I've got a couple comments here. How do I learn this stuff? Do you have any? Are you gonna have any classes? You gonna do? You're gonna do any training? The answer actually is yes. But I'm gonna tell you first of all. Okay, so a couple things. I don't have a slide on this, but we are actually um, planning a training series. Okay. Um, I don't want to say too much about it yet because I don't have the final plans. All right, but it is coming up, so watch for the news, and as I get confirmation of the concrete plans, I will reveal them to you. But in the next 2 or 3 months, I believe we are going to um, offer soup to nuts. I was going to say cradle to grave, but that's not a good analogy. Soup to nuts training. So everything we do, everything I do, everything John does, we are going to get into and teach you all in this amazing training course, okay? Watch for it. In the meantime, if you're just starting out with us, not really sure, get in the inner circle. It doesn't cost you much. You're going to get a morning market analysis prepared by John, 9 o'clock in the morning, gets delivered into your inbox. A very, I was going to say brief, but it's quite comprehensive, but it's brief, but it also illustrates what's going on in the market. John prepares this, and he talks about what to expect that day. It's a flash assessment as to where SPY is expected to go that day. So it's actually pretty cool. It's like a vision into the future of the day, and it's an amazingly accurate tool. You'll also get a follow-up report later in the day as to what we actually did, and you'll be invited to our Wednesday night interactive meetups where we can answer all your questions very specifically. So subscribers get to get in there and ask John, because he hosts this. John, show us how to use the Andrews pitchfork. All right, and he will present the Andrews pitchfork indicator to you. Now, if you want, you can also email John in advance, and he can prepare for it, give you a nice, really good presentation. Um, and his email is jon at daytradespy.com. Okay. And if you want something like, there's a question up in here from Mark. Will you ever have a class on using the indicator and just pitchfork? And that's exactly where John can spend the time that it takes to fully explain it. Okay. All right. And that's really where we should be. That's going to be every Wednesday night. And by the way, these sessions are recorded in case you miss them, because we have a lot of people from overseas and outside of the Eastern time zone and can't make it or whatever. So these sessions are recorded and sent to you after the fact. Now, you also get first notice of any upcoming events, which is pretty cool. So you can go to our website, daytradespy.com, and just get in there and subscribe, or you can get perhaps a better rate, a better cost for this if you simply email customer service at DayTradeSpy and ask them what is your best rate on the inner circle. Okay, email them; they'll get back to you. We also have other services too. Now, I'll quickly go over this because I see time is already 9 o'clock. I want to get to some of your questions. Day Trade Spy Signal, a particular option sent to your cell phone 3 to 5 times a week. Algo-based morning trades, not in the afternoon. Immediately buy it, put it up for sale for 5%. If it is not sold by the end of the day, sell it on market close. Been doing extremely well, but I think it's pushed up about 90%. Again, go to customer service at Day Trade Spy. Pick of the day, similar particular option sent to you at about 9 o'clock in the morning, 5 times a week. Hand-picked trade, not algo-based, all right? And John and I get together every morning to determine, is this going to go up or down today? and we're going to send you a particular option that you're going to trade right at 9:30. All right, right when the market goes live. Put it up for sale for 6% profit. You could actually hold this overnight if you really want to. We recommend that, for those of you who do want a closure on this, if it is not sold for your profit target, and by the way, some people make a lot more than 6%, just like with the signal, they make a lot more than 6%. All right. We teach you how to make a lot more than that. These are just price points that we have to put on there to measure success. But if you don't sell this over at the end of the day, sell it at the end of the day and get rid of it. Again, customer service at daytradespy.com. Okay. And finally, I got to tell you about the trading room. This is our sort of our mainstay. Okay, this is where John and I host this every morning. This is where strategies come alive. Live streaming. You see our charts. We discuss the setups, and then we enter trades starting at 9:30 in the morning or when the setup presents itself. Every morning, 9:20 to 10:30. We do not monopolize your whole day. You don't have to be in front of your computer, nothing like that. Wrap it up at 10:30 or shortly thereafter. Make our money, get in, get out. These are learn and earn sessions. They are interactive. They're also very exciting. A lot of people say they're even entertaining. We try to have some fun with these sessions, okay? We teach what we trade, and we trade what we teach. Get your questions answered, I should say, live, all right? In the trading room, been doing this now since 2010. By the way, coming up, I believe it is going to be next Saturday, May the 10th. That will be exactly 15 years that Day Trade Spy has been teaching traders internationally around the world how to trade options. I have to laugh because when we first started this, it was really a fluke. It was never meant to go long at all. We thought, we'll run this for a month or two, it'll fizzle out. It never fizzled out. In fact, it grew and grew and grew, and now, oh my gosh, it's bigger than ever. So very proud of that. Again, with the trading room, folks, I'm going to tell you, if you go to customer service at DayTradeSPY, you can get it for $6.99 a quarter. All right, that works out to roughly a half a Subway sandwich every day. If you don't think two mentors, two seasoned traders in your back pocket is not worth it, I don't know what to tell you. Don't miss out on this. All right, don't miss out on this. All right, $6.99 for 3 months. That's not $6.99 a month. That's $6.99 for 3 months. All right, so I'm working with a gentleman turning 5,000 to 50K by year, and we got slaughtered a couple of times actually with the tariffs, got us some bad positions, but we're climbing out of our hole, and I have every confidence. We're making more money than we're sort of scheduled to every day, but we are climbing out of the hole. We're still in the hole, almost 12 grand to where we're supposed to be, but we're almost 12 grand up on our profit on this. And we still have lots of time. We're going to ramp this up and go quickly. In our position, we can actually trade more than once a day. What I've been doing is just kind of taking a lackadaisical approach, I guess. But I'm gonna turn up the heat a little bit and get ahead of ourselves. I want to get back on the positive end of this scale here. This budget as to where we're supposed to be. This graph. The blue line is where we're supposed to be, and the red line is where we are now. By the way, this graph takes us into well over 50,000. As a matter of fact, I think I was talking about going up to 100,000 this year. So we'll see what happens. Am I worried? Absolutely not. All right. For those reasons, join our programs, learn how to day trade options on SPY, the S&P 500. Right now, let's look at some questions real quick. I don't want to keep you here all night. Uh, right. Does this scale? Start with 50K, should make 400K to 500K by the end of 200 trading days. Charles, yes, it does scale. I like to use a hybrid. All right, because I like to be in a position where, so should something go suddenly wrong, especially when you get such a, and I mean this in a nice way, quirky administration, because you never know what's going to happen. And, you know, when the president comes out and puts out a thing on Truth Social that he wants to be the Pope, especially after, they just buried the previous Pope, not very funny. I don't know how the market's going to react to that. But, anything can happen. So we want to kind of cover ourselves and not go crazy. But yes, it is scalable. So I'm kind of looking at a bit of a hybrid where we're going to obviously increase our investment as we grow our profits, but not not as aggressively as making, say, four or $500,000, by the end of the year. I mean, if you can do that and you're very good at this, awesome, truly awesome. But I'm thinking here, if I could take 5,000, turn into 50,000 in the current market conditions, I think a lot of people would be very happy with that. If I get up to 100,000, even better. All right. All right. Yeah, some people are saying, "Oh, yeah, if I had have stayed in the market a little bit longer than getting out of it because I got scared, I would have made some profit." So here's the thing with options. There's the volatility is such, especially these days, that you can get some real huge swings, right? The leverage is huge on options, and sometimes you'll find yourself deeply underwater, 10, 20, 30, 50%. But I like to pull back and look at the overall situation. What do we have coming up? Overall situation. Sometimes it's very difficult to assess that because, for example, the Magnificent Seven stocks, right? If the earnings are good, but if the projections are going to be questionable, market might not really like that. We had some good earnings on some of these stocks, and yet the market went down because their projections were very, they didn't know. They're worried. They're concerned. Tariffs is a big thing. When Apple has good profits, but tariffs on Apple products coming in from China, uh, they're thinking, what do we do with this? Okay, so what we're going to have to do is import the our cell phones, the iPhones, instead of China, bring them, ramp up our production in India and bring them in from India. Um, I don't know, but so it's difficult. But I think if you can identify where the market is going to go from a fundamental standpoint and technically assess the markets where it could possibly go, where those major support and resistance levels are, and if you have enough time on your side, I like to have plenty of time, all right? Because time is your enemy here too. I mean, it's not just the person in the mirror, but it's time is not your friend with the way we trade. Now, if you're selling options, then time is your friend. But you could get in a situation where you could be held, if you're put to holding the stock. I don't want to hold the stock. Okay. So anyway, that's the point there. Um, and you can actually learn how to do this. And at the end of the day, it's always about money management. Never ever invest more you can afford to lose. All right. Start small. Get your small daily goals. Get your small daily wins. Let's say your goal is two, $300 a day. When you hit that goal, even if you hit it, say at 10:15 or 10:10 or 10 o'clock, wrap it up. Wrap it up. You hit your goal. Because what happens, you go for that third trade or that fourth trade or the fifth trade, and then you get overconfident, things are going your way, but suddenly the market reverses. It just flips on you for no apparent reason. Now you're underwater. Now you're watching it for the rest of the day. 4 o'clock comes along. Oh, why did I do that? I had my goal. I had my goal and I had to go another trade. Now I'm down $1,000, right? Um, so do it that way. And you'll find that, you know, at the end of the week, you're up $1,000. At the end of 2 weeks, you're up $2,000, right? At the end of the month, you're up $4,000 or $5,000. Is that so bad? Right? All right, another question here. If you guys are making money, why do you keep pushing the training? And that's a good question. Why don't you just keep making your money? Um, the answer is this. We're making money anyway, right? We're trading anyway. And we love what we do. But we especially love teaching other people how to trade as well. All right. So we get a real charge. I get a real charge out of seeing other people have profits, especially people who are maybe not, that experienced, people who are new in the game, right? They come in as novices, they learn the system, they get into it, they paper trade first. Make sure you paper trade, get lots of good paper trades under your belt until your confidence builds and you've developed a pattern, you're comfortable with the trades, right? Get in, make your money, right? Get in and start trading. And then and to hear the results of people when when they have some really good results. It's actually really exciting for us. Both John and I feel that same rush when we see those results. Also, from a selfish standpoint, it keeps us sharp in the business. We have to stay on top of our game. And I like it because cognitively, I stay on sharp. Keeps my mind sharp. I know many people my age, 70 years old, who are retired and they sit in front of the TV and you talk to them and their brain turns to mush. They don't have any new ideas. They look to the past more than the future. And they're not open-minded anymore, and they don't have any clear ideas on things. And I know some people they die very quickly, right? When they've worked at a job for many years, and I'm sure many of you know people, and 6 months after they retire, a year after they retire, they drop dead. It's like they have no reason to live. Um, I enjoy the challenge. All right, I enjoy the challenge of beating the S&P 500. I think it's exciting. Some people, excuse me, some people do other things. Hmm. Bear with me. Bear with me while I just get a drink here. John, my associate, he's I believe 65. He loves to go bike riding. When I say bike riding, I'm talking about he'll put on 100 miles a weekend, or sometimes 100 miles on a single trip on a Saturday or something. So he'll go to these tours, and he loves bike riding. So he's very good at it. He loves it. He lives for it. And as a lawyer and a trader, he's a sharp, very sharp guy. Um, and so there's a lot of benefits to trading. Even if you don't trade, even if you just paper trade for the fun of it to keep your own mind sharp, do it. It's very exciting. All right. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Mark. Mark J. What is it you say after 1 minute, after 3 minutes? I'm not really sure what you're referring to here. Um, yes, Daniel, you generally only go out the following week. Okay, so when I buy time, all right, as a rule, I like to buy this week's Fridays. If it's Monday and Tuesday, I'll buy this week's Friday's expiration. So I'll have 4 or 5 days, okay? If it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll buy the following week's Friday's expiration. So I'll get 7 or 8 days in there. So I like to buy a few days because my percentage theta loss is very small. I could buy 2, 3 weeks out, but you're not going to get the same movement on your options necessarily when you get further out. You'll get smaller percentage gains on your options further out. So I like to buy enough time, but not too much time, so that I have a good balance between risk and reward. So, all right, I see the time. It's now, oh my gosh, we're pushing quarter after 9 here this evening. So listen, I'm going to thank you for sitting in with me again, and I hope you got something out of this session. So now it's time for our contest. So I want you to punch up here. Oh, I have to pull this out. Hang on a second. I have to get my random number generator. Here it is right here. So I want you to please, in the questions box, punch up whatever number that's not the number. Hang on a second. Hang on. This is the number, 52. I just hit the button. It's not 6. The number is 52. You saw how that changed. So, okay, let me get my trusty pen and paper out here so I can find. Oh, wait a second. I did this wrong. I did this wrong. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Uh, I actually did this wrong. All right, you guys all punched up your number. Now, after everybody punches their number, then I'm going to do the number generator, okay? I did the number generator prematurely. Okay, sorry. Am I losing my mind? Hmm. Okay, okay. All right. While I'm waiting for everybody to give me your number, I'm just going to answer one more question here. Okay, so Mark says here, saw a slide of one of yours that says something like if you're in a trade for 1 minute, you're in good shape. 5 minutes caution, 15 minutes lookout. You're talking about, right, you're talking about, Mark, my scalp trades. Yes, I'm looking at very quick scalp trades in and out very quickly. All right, punch up your numbers, folks. What is your guess? Scott C says in the trading room, please spend a little more time talking about pivot points, Fibonacci, support resistance lines. Okay, Scott, if I forget, please punch that up in the trading room, that same quote, so that I can actually go into it. Okay, everybody has their numbers, right? Okay, now we will do the random number generator. Let me see if I can do this right. It is not 52. All right, let's try this again. The number is 59. 59. Okay, who came in close to 59 here? Did anybody? Let me go back to the beginning here. Okay, so, okay, hang on. I am going to write these numbers down. Hang on a second. I'm going to do this very quickly. Ken F came in at 57. Let's see, so far he is the closest. Arnold also came in at 57. Arnold P. By the way, if there is a tie, you both get the. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you the ebook, Hughes True Stories, Triumphs and Tragedies. That is the prize, Triumphs and Tragedies, and they are our winners. You will both get the prize. Congratulations, and yeah, congratulations on that. Let me just get you. Let me open up the microphone to everybody here, to so that we can listen to everybody here congratulating Ken F and Arnold P for taking 57 as the number, and the actual number was 59. So let's open up the mics. Oh, that's not it. Okay, I got the wrong. Let's try this guy here. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh. They're all applauding for you. Okay, they're all applauding for you. Oh man, have we beat this to death? Folks, listen, if you are okay, looking to join the trading room, there will be a URL at the end of this session. Just click on that. That should subscribe you. As always, the recording will be out shortly. It's truly been a pleasure. Good night, everybody.
Shine brighter than the moon and the sun. Be great at what you do. Give it all of you. And trust the process and keep your eyes on the prize. I can tell you what I'm seeing. You can have